I had a conversation about this the other day, talking about the difference between beauty and hotness. Now, you might have different terms for it in the literature, but an immediate, very sexually available signal of fitness versus a more timeless, graceful, more subtle signal of fitness. And I am absolutely adamant that society is signaling almost exclusively off hotness at the moment, that the inherent transactional, transient nature of most of young people's relationships, where basically they're masturbating with somebody else's body, and they just that there happens to be another consciousness in the room, that is leading into hotness being used as the fundamental cue. So look at, I don't even know if these magazines exist anymore, but if you were to get a girl on the front of some lad mag, some boys mag that's got fast cars and like scantily clad women, they're not selecting for beauty. They're purposefully selecting for hotness. I did 2 reality TV dating shows. I did Love Island and one called Take Me Out. And on that, the same. They're not selecting for women that are beautiful. That's not to say that some of them aren't or weren't beautiful, but the primary value that they're selecting for is hotness, because they only have 6 weeks. If you only got 6 weeks in a villa and you have to share a bed, there's half the number of beds as there are people, so you're sharing a bed with somebody every night, and they need you to switch. There's 2 eliminations a week and all this stuff. They need hotness. You can't have something that takes you 3 months to fully appreciate all of the nuances of Louisa's fucking back arch. It's like, no. The half sleeve tattoo and the lip piercing will do it for you straight away.
Yeah, exactly. And there can be enormous pressure to kind of signal hotness. So I think tattoos and piercings and certain kinds of, dressing in a certain way that basically advertises like I'm, potentially open to short-term mating.
What do you think it is?
If we match.
What do you think it is about piercings and tattoos? What do you think's the subtext behind that?
I think it's a little bit culturally arbitrary that it has become associated with openness to kind of short-term mating, or openness to being open or polyamorous or whatever, openness to threesomes, whatever you're into. But once you get the signal established, once there's kind of a social consensus that, if you have a lot of tattoos, that's signaling a degree of sexual openness that would not be welcome in Salt Lake City among the Mormons, but would be welcomed in like Brooklyn or LA or whatever. But I think your point about hotness versus beauty is really on the money. And like some women are so beautiful, like whatever, Kate Blanchett or Anne Hathaway or certain actresses like that, where it's like almost hard to sexually objectify them. Like it feels almost wrong to sort of put them in the category of like, oh, she's so hot. Because classy beauty, you immediately think, oh, I wish I had a wife like that, right? Or I wish I had a girlfriend like that. I suspect there's something parallel with men, where like certain men radiate kind of like short-term hotness rather than like good long-term husband potential. You probably encountered this in the modeling world a little bit.
Correct, and in the nightlife world a lot, dude. I mean, because I see, it's so funny. When you go into a nightclub and there's a strobe light on, and you don't actually, when there's a strobe light, you don't see people move. You see snapshots of the person. It's they're here, then they're here, then they're here, then they're here. And running a club night is exactly the same as that, but socially. So I only get to see people for 5 hours on a Thursday and a Friday, or whenever it is that your particular portfolio of events is running for that season or that year or whatever. And you see things happen. So you'll see new group of fresher students arrive, and then maybe this guy and this girl, maybe they meet each other, and then maybe they hook up, and then maybe they start talking, and then maybe they're together for a bit, and then maybe this new girl comes in, but you don't see everything happen. You just see kind of like this brief window into it. And dude, it's so fucking interesting to see, to be able to select the kids that are going to be the ones that are going to have the status, that are highly regarded. And you're right. I mean, there's something around girls that wear those choker necklaces that have been accused of being a black belt for blowjobs by not me. And You see that certain signals play out, and that's what creates the stereotypes culturally. You see something, it gets reinforced, and then maybe people see that and think, well, I've just got out of a relationship with a boyfriend. Why don't I get a nose ring and start wearing choker necklaces? Because that's what the culture is telling me that sort of person does, and it just starts to feed itself.
Yeah, and I think I would just caution young people, like, what you want is you want maximum flexibility to adjust your signals that you're sending out in a way that is like dynamic and adaptive. If you get a permanent tattoo that's visible in every job interview or at your wedding or whatever, like, it's hard to go back from that. It's hard to do tattoo removal. Whereas if you're wearing, black belt choker, at least you can take that off and like then become respectable on Monday.
Don't need to still wear it at the wedding, yeah.
So, of course, the more permanent the signal, the more credible a signal it is, because it shows extra commitment. But I think a lot of young people really, they have a very short-term time horizon, and they're really not thinking ahead about how is this tattoo really going to look in 15 years? Is my future toddler going to make fun of it?
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.